in Walmart today to interview a Walmart greeter and try to figure out where God is at work in their work. What is it about who a Walmart greeter is that can teach us about who God is? Where do we see God's face in their face? Now, given the stereotypes out there, that may seem like a very strange pursuit, but if a Walmart greeter is made in the image of God, there has to be something beautiful and true and right, just right, in who they are and in what they do. We're going to try to figure that out today.
Hi, I'm Shirley Young. I'm a Walmart greeter.
So my first question, Shirley, is what do you do?
We greet the people that come in and show them the different departments that they can go to and send them to whatever department that they need to be.
What do you love about your job?
I like meeting people and people in general. It's quite a good job.
What, can you tell me a story of a really good Walmart greeter experience that you had?
Oh, I couldn't even think of one. There's so many.
Really?
Yeah.
What does it look like?
Well, most people are pretty congenial, so, you know, there's not much to tell.
All right, so you just like greeting people.
And I like people in general. So that's the main thing.
All right. Can you tell me about a time where you had a hard time on this job?
Oh, well, there's a few gentlemen or women that come in and they're in a bad mood from their day's experience. And they have a tendency to yell at you. But I always tell them, have a lovely day, and I hope you enjoy what you're going to be doing.
Now, I've read online a lot of stuff where people are pretty hard on Walmart greeters. Have you felt that?
Well, they can be, but it's all in the attitude that you deal with them. You know, if you deal with them on a upbeat attitude, then they're fine. They seem to level out. And there's always going to be somebody that's had a bad day or, you know, a bad experience. But it's all in the attitude that you put across yourself as a greeter.
And maybe by being who you are, you can change.
You betcha.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's why you love this job.
Yes, I do.
Awesome. How long have you been doing it?
I've been doing it almost 14 years.
14 years as a Walmart greeter. Is your back sore?
No, I'm quite fine.
Awesome. You must be very healthy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of standing around.
Yeah, it's good. And it's an upbeat job.
Right. So you're a gift to this company and this store.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah. I would say you are. Thanks for this.
Thank you.
Okay.
So as you can tell, Shirley really didn't want to talk a lot about herself or draw too much attention to herself. For her, it was all about others. She liked people. She wanted to help others, help them find the department they're looking for, but mostly through that conversation and the one that ensued, just help people to have a better day by giving them a smile, by saying hello, or by doing something as practical as getting them a cart. And she would all day long move from the position where she was standing over to where the carts were, grab a few carts, pull them back, and put them in the center beside her for the next customer who came in. 77 years old, doing it for 14 years, still humbly doing unto others as she would have them do unto her, and doing it so well that for the 45 minutes or so we were engaged with her, I bet you there were a half dozen people who came in, customers who said hello, Shirley, by her first name, because they knew her as the greeter there. After we turned the camera off, you could tell what her character was like and how she was so other-oriented, because the first thing she asks me is, so what got you into the ministry, right? And sometimes people ask you that question and you feel like you can honestly answer them, right? They're just good listeners and they really meant the question. And so I told her a bit about my life change and the birth of my son Edward with Down syndrome and a bit of that story. And then in response, she opened up more and shared about some very significant losses in her life and her philosophy of not letting pain define her and being able to still stay in a very positive and good place in her life. And I thought, man, this woman is so content with that story of her life and this job that she does, it just kind of blew me away how much peace she had. She just really knew herself. And driving home, I thought, what a wonderful human being. And then I felt the shame. I had run that morning and the day before a scenario where I thought, well, what if I go to the manager, Jamie Johnson, and ask him if I can be a Walmart greeter for the day, and I'll put on a blue vest and I'll do it. You want to find out what this job is like? Go out and do it, you know? And this is pathetic. So worried was I that someone I know might come into the store and think that that was my job, because nobody came on time change mornings at New Hope and they had to cut back on the budget, and I didn't go that far. So worried. This is how I do it. Whenever my ego comes to the fore, if you can joke around it a little bit, make people laugh, then we're all feeling a little less discomfort. We should feel discomfort that a pastor of a church can feel that doing that job would be so embarrassing that I could not do it. I did not even bring this suggestion forward. Before I got into this business, I used to work as a real estate developer. You all know that, or some of you do, and shopped at Harry's and other name brand stores in Toronto, and it was all about that. And I would never be caught dead walking into a Walmart store for that same fear. This terrible, prideful stereotyping of Walmart is everywhere, of Walmart greeters in particular. There seems to be a target on them. This next slide is from a screen capture from the Urban Dictionary, and yeah, that's the definition that a lot of people seem to think or comes to mind, and 41 people voted that definition up, the most degrading job in the world, and 15 voted it down. And I couldn't help notice the last phrase of the last sentence there in the second definition. What's the first, second, or third question you ask when you meet a new person at a party or wherever you're meeting people? What is it? So what do you do for a living? And then we get the answer, and then we rank them, and then we rank ourselves, consciously or not. And yet, Jesus washed his disciples' feet. It was just before the Passover festival, and Jesus knew that the hour had come for him to leave this world and go to the Father. Having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. The evening meal was in progress, and the devil had already prompted Judas, the son of Simon Iscariot, to betray Jesus. Jesus knew that the Father had put all things under his power, and that he had come from God and was returning to God. So he got up from the meal, took off his outer clothing, and wrapped a towel around his waist. And after that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash his disciples' feet, drying them with the towel that was wrapped around him. And he came to Simon Peter, who said to him, Simon's sweating big time as Jesus is working his way around the crowd because he's such a proud guy. And Simon said to him, Lord, are you going to wash my feet? And Jesus replied, you do not realize what I am doing, but later you will understand. No, said Peter, you shall never wash my feet. I remember a time 15, 18 years ago, and I'd gone with our youth group on a Christian mission thing, and some wacko person decided to have this foot washing thing. And it was coming around the room, and I left the room. I could not let someone touch my feet. I couldn't submit to that. So Peter-esque was I. Are we? No, said Peter, you shall never wash my feet. And Jesus answered, unless I wash you, you will have no part of me. So Peter, I guess, weighing the odds of that happening and wanting him more than he wanted his pride, said, then, Lord, not just my feet, but my hands and my head as well. Jesus answered, "Those who've had a bath need only to wash their feet. Their whole body is clean. And you are clean, though not every one of you." For he knew who was going to betray him, and that's why he said not everyone was clean. When he had finished washing their feet, he put on his clothes and returned to his place, and says to you, "Do you understand what I have done for you? You call me teacher and Lord, and rightly so, for that is what I am. Now that I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet. I've set you an example that you should do as I have done for you. Very truly, I tell you, servants are not greater than their master, nor are messengers greater than the one who sent them. Now that you know these things, you will be blessed if you do them." And surely, in her little part of God's kingdom, does them every day she's at work, humbly serving and putting other human beings, the kind of people who go to Walmart, first. I go to Walmart all the time now. She naturally sees the innate goodness and value in another human being. I just like people. Jesus must have really just liked people.